Hey everyone, lukemick here, bringing you an intro to the intro of this video. In post, I decided that I was going to split this Sundance recap up into two separate videos. I just thought it would reach people easier and more efficiently that way. So subscribe to the channel and be on the lookout for part 2 of this video, and also know that there will be a digital code giveaway in the next video for The Art of Self-Defense. So if you're interested in the rest of the films from Sundance that I saw and interested in a digital code copy for this film, you could be the lucky winner. So stay tuned for the next video and enjoy what you're about to see. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. lukemick here, coming to you from the coldest room in the house. The United States is going through a bit of a cold snap right now. I think it's below zero, way below zero outside here in Minnesota, and I'm freezing in this basement here. But we're gonna truck through this. I got the heated blanket on me. I have a cup of tea, as I've been doing lately, and in this video, I want to talk about the Sundance Film Festival of 2022. I attended the festival digitally this year with a couple of friends. We watched somewhere between 15 and 20 films. We did the same thing last year, digitally, and the 2 years before that, I actually was physically in Park City for the festival, and it's a very different experience doing it in person versus online. In a lot of ways, in person is amazing. It's really fun being at the festival and just being in it, being in the vein of the entire thing. But the digital aspect of it is actually super nice because we get to watch like double the amount of films that we normally get to watch over a normal weekend in Park City. So I'm not going to choose favorites as to which format I like, but I am going to say that it is pretty amazing the amount of films that we're able to experience digitally. And out of all of the years that I have done Sundance, I don't know what it was, but I felt the most positive and the most happy with films from this year than any other year. There really wasn't a film that I watched this year that I'd say I didn't like. Like, I walked out of everything thinking, yeah, I liked that film. Like, not all of them are perfect, but I had very positive feelings towards everything that we watched. So I want to take this opportunity to advocate for films that I really liked during my time at the festival this year. There are a couple of films that I really loved that I'm concerned might not get the attention and recognition that I think they deserve. So I really just want to use this video in this format as a way for me to give you all an overview of the films that we watched for the festival, and just speak a little bit about each film and give my reaction and small reviews of these films, and just help support them, because I thought there were a lot of great films this year, and I want these films to be seen and heard, and I want them to find their audience. So let's start with the first film that we watched on Thursday night. We watched a documentary called Tantura. It's a historical documentary that is uncovering this enormous cover-up within Israel from the 1940s, shortly after World War II. I'm not going to get too much into the details of what this film is about. You can look up on Sundance's website or Letterboxd, IMDb. But I have not seen the documentary The Act of Killing, but my friend Thomas said that this film kind of reminded him of what he would expect that film to be like, in that a lot of the people interviewed in this film are people who carried out a sort of a massacre, essentially. At least that is what the film is trying to uncover and tell us. I don't know much about the actual event other than what I heard from this film, so assuming that this film is telling the truth and coming to the correct conclusions, then this film is like The Act of Killing. But The Act of Killing is a film more so where I haven't seen it, but I think the ones carrying out the killing almost feel more proud and are more excited to talk about it. But in this film, people are very hesitant to talk about the things that happened in 1948 in Tantura. Some people deny completely what happened, some people can't recall exactly, and some people just seem like they want to come out and tell the truth, but they're not going to fully admit to the things that happened. And I found it to be a really compelling documentary. It was a nice length. I felt like it didn't outstay its welcome, and it was definitely a really great way to start the festival. I really enjoyed it. The Worst Person in the World is the next film we watched, and I'm really not going to say anything about this because this film is enormously popular already. I don't know if the Oscar nominations have come out yet, but it is most certainly going to get nominated for Best Foreign Language or Best International Film, whatever they call it these days. I don't even know. It's a Norwegian film. It's a really great dramedy, profound performances, really good film. You should definitely check it out if you are into dramatic pictures. And then at 1 a.m. or so, it was like 12:55, the midnight screening of Fresh. This film is something else. It stars Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar-Jones, who I had never seen before, but she's moderately popular. She's been in a couple of roles the past few years, it seems. And this was coined as a stalker movie and sort of like an examination of the struggles of modern-day dating and how hard it is to find people that aren't suspect,
Sussy,
and dangerous. And this is just a really wild, really fun film where Sebastian Stan plays this sort of twisted stalker type character. I'm not going to give much away. I think that this one is going to be released in theaters or released pretty widely because it was produced by Searchlight Pictures, Fox, or 20th Century Studios, whatever they call themselves now. And it's also produced by Adam McKay. But this is a really crazy film. It's pretty nasty. It's a lot of fun. It kind of has a story structure similar to Get Out. It is very Get Out in some ways, and I had a ton of fun with it. Sebastian Stan's performance was just so conniving and entertaining, and I had a lot of fun with Fresh. I'm assuming that the marketing for this film, once it actually gets like a trailer and a release date and stuff, it might, tell the audience what they're getting themselves into, but as as a premiere at a festival, going into this pretty much blind was really shocking and really fun. I loved it. It has kind of a messy third act. It's not like a perfect film, but it was exactly what I needed at 1 a.m. So Fresh, I liked it a lot. I would definitely seek that one out when it comes out. Okay, 892. I don't have much to say about this film. The best thing about it is that John Boyega's performance is really good. It's about a man in Atlanta who's planning to rob a Wells Fargo. And speaking of Wells Fargo, I don't know why I have this mug, but it's a Wells Fargo mug. But yeah, it's a drama. It's based off of a true story. It was okay. It also stars Michael K. Williams of The Wire, who recently passed away, and I think it's his last role in film and television, so that's definitely a reason to check it out. And I felt like it wasn't always compelling, and the ending really dragged a bit. Like, I got the message, and it just kept kind of beating me over the head with it. It was okay. I would say it might be my least favorite of the festival. Not that I think it's even a bad film. Like, I think it's worthwhile. It just was one that I didn't feel as, like, I don't know, excited about after watching it. And also my friends weren't too into it, which probably swayed my mindset of the film as well. Riotsville, U.S.A. is a film. It's a documentary, and it's more of an experimental documentary. The editing in this is really one of its strongest aspects. I think the score and the sound design is also really well done. It's about these fake towns that the U.S. government and military built in the 1960s as a way to train the Army or the National Guard as to how they should deal with protesters in the 1960s, and it was just super bizarre and weird, and all of the footage in the film is either old media broadcast or footage of the actual Riotsville setups and locations. Admittedly, I did fall asleep a little bit in the middle of this, seeing Fresh at 1 a.m. the night before, and then having to wake up at like 9:30 to do some work before watching the rest of the films for Friday. I was lacking sleep, and I was a little bit out of it. But it's a cool film. But yeah, Riotsville, I can't say too much about it, but I did enjoy it. The next film we watched was Master, which I found to be a really, really gripping and compelling psychological horror thriller that is examining the subtle and sometimes not so subtle racism within college institutions, and it explores a lot in this film. It was super uncomfortable and disturbing, nerve-wracking, claustrophobic. It's kind of in the same vein as like a Get Out, and it also has like the intensity, and it treats the subject matter seriously in a way that like Hereditary would. I thought it was a really well-balanced film that was able to juggle its like really serious dramatic themes with the horror and just create a really uncomfortable and horrifying viewing experience. I'm curious to see where this film goes from here, how it's received. I think it could strike a chord with a lot of people, and I think that it could blow up and become like really popular. I found it to be a really effective film. I thought it was highly disturbing, and it created a nice discussion after the film, and it was just I don't know, it was a tough one. It had some very awkwardly light, funny moments, but it was also so heavy thematically, and just the stakes and consequences of everything. I think a very, very good blend of social issues and horror and drama, and I just it worked really well for me. I really liked Master. It's kind of a tough watch, honestly, but it should definitely be seeked out by those who you know, are interested in what I just had to say about it. Then we watched Watcher, which is it stars Micah Monroe, who stars in It Follows and Independence Day Resurgence. I think people forget that she's in that movie, and this is a good film. A really great film examining what it's like being an outsider in a country and surrounded by a language that you're not familiar with. Micah Monroe is marrying, or she has a fiance, and he is Romanian, right? It is a Romanian film, so she's, you know, a foreigner inside of Romania, and she believes that somebody is watching her from her window, someone in like the condominium she's living in. And it's a really nice, tense, atmospheric stalker thriller movie. It feels like things I've seen before, but I think that it does a really great job at building tension. I thought Micah Monroe's performance was really good, as well as the supporting cast. Really nice looking movie as well, and just a nice examination of the anxieties that one can feel when in unfamiliar and uncomfortable settings, I guess. So yeah, Watcher was it was a good way to end Friday night. Next, we watched a documentary called Descendant, which is a really interesting documentary, as it is about, on surface level, it's about the hunt for what is known to be the last illegal slave ship to have entered the United States in the 1800s. The family that was coordinating and profiting off of the slaves of that era, and how that family is still very wealthy and still leaves an impression on this community known as Africa Town. And I thought this documentary did a really great job of capturing the opinion of the locals of the area, and just getting their view and their opinion on what it would mean to find this ship, and whether or not it's an important thing and what it symbolizes. And the film has so many more complex layers. It's so much more than just a film about finding what is known to be the last slave ship to enter the United States. There's just a lot going on. It just does a really nice job at painting this canvas and giving us this look into this community and the hardships that they have suffered and continue to, because of this mayor family that owns a lot of the industrialized areas surrounding the community. Links to cancer. There's so much going on in this film. It's pretty eye-opening, and it's really compelling watch, and should be seeked out for pretty much anybody. I think it's a really interesting film. Maybe my favorite documentary of the festival this year. Summering. This is a film directed by James Ponsoldt, who directed The Spectacular Now, The End of the Tour, and this is, I guess I didn't realize this, but it's like a kid's film. It's a sort of, not coming of age. It's girls who are in they were in elementary school, 5th grade, and they're about to start middle school. It's the last week of summer before middle school starts, and they find a dead body. So it's a little bit like Stand By Me influenced. They reference Bridge to Terabithia quite a few times, and I liked the film. I thought that it had a very sweet message. I found myself to be pretty emotionally attached to what one girl in particular was going through in this film. I thought most of the performances from these young actors were really pretty great. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't love Summering, but I definitely liked it. I think I liked it more than most people because I recently checked its Letterboxd reception, and it sounds like people really aren't liking it very much. But I enjoyed it, and I hope that it finds its audience. I liked it. Yeah, I hope that it gets the love that it is looking for.